Hey guys, we're talking about Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri today. This is the new Martin Mcdonagh film. I'm a big fan, so I knew I had to see this. He only has 3 full-length features, including this one, but he's a really prolific playwright, and I'm familiar with a lot of his work. I like all of it, and this movie's great, so let's get into it. The viewing experience is fantastic. It's hilarious, like all of his stuff, but it's also very dark. That's one of my favorite things about Mcdonagh, is the way that he finds humor in darkness. Just like the rest of his work, this film talks about anger and the way that it affects us, the way that it changes us and makes us act. In like 90% of all of his work, his characters are all really angry, like most of the time. They're set to different backgrounds, but they also all have a lot to do with crime. This one isn't like about crime, but it takes place around a crime, kind of in the same way that In Bruges does. So yeah, he's got these through lines that he always talks about, but they change up just a little bit, whether he's changing settings, because he has a lot of work that happens in Europe, and he has a lot of work that takes place in America. And just the general backgrounds, like In Bruges is kind of set against the backdrop of romantic relationships, whereas this is set against kind of familial relationships, and it talks about the way that anger affects those relationships and affects our interactions and communities. And that's really fascinating to me. He shows the worst of people and the best of people, and it's hysterical. It's so funny. I laughed really, really, really hard in this movie. Moving along, is it original? Yeah, definitely. The setting is really cool. It's a setting that's got more attention recently with like the lower class. It's one of my favorite genres. Like I call it like the modern western, with like Winter's Bone and Hell or High Water and kind of movies like that that are set in little places like this, often in the Midwest. But like I said, the way that he injects humor into the darkness is something that I think is not necessarily completely unique to him, but I think he does better than just about anybody else. So yeah, definitely it's a cool movie that you're not necessarily going to see anywhere else. The acting is just so good. It's so good, guys. Frances McDormand maybe is going to win the Oscar for this. I don't know, because I haven't seen Lady Bird yet. It's on the top of my list, and I've heard that Saoirse is amazing in that. But Frances McDormand is so good. She's a rock star. Also, Sam Rockwell is my favorite actor of all time. And he's fantastic. His character does such a 360 flip in this. It's really cool, and that's thanks to the excellent writing as well. Shut up. Silence your phone. But yeah, it has a really, really cool arc, and it's really extreme, but it still feels motivated. Rockwell's character goes from like the worst, horrible dude of all time to still kind of horrible, but you go like, oh, I get you a little bit now. The rest of everything is great. Woody Harrelson's great. Woody Harrelson's just kind of doing his Woody Harrelson thing at this point, but he's good. Lucas Hedges, I love that kid. He's gonna be great, and he's gonna be in a lot of stuff because he's really good. So yeah, the acting, it's like fantastic. Last thing, the aesthetics. The music is dope. There's lots of really cool, like deep kind of country music and twangy stuff, along with some more classical film orchestration type things. The whole musical landscape works together really well. The cinematography is really good. A lot of it's really intimate and lets the acting do the work, which I love, because when you have a cast like this, you can do that. And I like that Mcdonagh lets the cinematography do that with the actors. So yeah, very little criticism for this one. It's really great. It didn't like blow my mind. It's not my favorite of the year, but it's really, really good. Go see it. I had a lot of fun. Also, I gotta name this channel. I have 2 finalists that I can't decide between. I like both of them. Bear in Mind, because I like bears. And number 2, Lukewarm Reviews, because my name is Luke. Tell me what you think. Voting war in the comments. What do I name the channel? Go see 3 Billboards. Recommendations. obviously go see In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths. If you haven't seen those two, they're also fantastic. Also, I'm going to say go see Calvary. It's by Martin McDonagh's brother, John Michael McDonagh. And it's one of my favorite films of the decade. It's really fantastic. He deals with similar themes. So go check those out, and go check out 3 Billboards.